What up? What up? What up? It is Golden Spaces, an Odyssey original podcast. And if this is the first time you are, it wouldn't be the first time you're listening, but we made an announcement a couple of weeks ago saying that we were going to be going to YouTube. And then we didn't go to YouTube for a variety of reasons, like travel schedules, availability, but largely because the Warriors just were not giving us good games to debut our videos for. And we were not going to start on an L, and we wanted to start on an upswing. And so it finally feels right. Justin and I are together. We're awake at almost 1 in the morning after a game. And so yeah, Golden Spaces, this Odyssey original podcast, we are now available still the way that we've been. So wherever you listen to your podcast, but also for those who've been asking, and even if you haven't been asking and you would like to watch us and see the full show like us recorded, or if you're like a legacy all Nat listener and you missed watching it on video, it is now available to you. So this very not first episode of the pod, but this show will now be available going forward in video format in full as well as podcast. So we here. And you can find those videos on 95 to 7 Games YouTube channel. So that's where they will live. So subscribe to that channel so you'll know when our videos get updated, and check us out. You'll see Justin's liveliness, as you can see right here. He's so hype. And you'll get to see all the facial expressions and stuff I make at him throughout the show. So I hope y'all are as excited about this as we are, right, Justin?
Super excited. I mean, you just said it. Like, people can clearly read my face, and if you can't see it, you can read it. My tone is just like so lively. It just that's how we go. That's how we do it.
That's
The
Justin's
vibes are back.
level of vibe. Someone
The
said that
vibes
they
are back.
call Someone said that they call us fire and ice, and I sort of like that. I mean, I'm used to that term because I'm a Delta. For anyone who may not know, you might, I don't know. I don't know if I really ever referenced my sorority on here, but I am a member of the best sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And, like, we're cool with alphas. And so we have a whole little fire and ice thing. But Justin is not an alpha. I don't believe you're in any kind of Greek lettered organization, right? So, but that doesn't matter. So I'm used to being called fire and ice, and then I sort of just have a fiery personality. But how do you feel about being ice, Justin?
I think it's fitting.
Fitting?
You know.
Okay. So
Yeah.
fire and ice, we got nicknames, Nat and Justin, fire and ice. Yeah.
Hey, what
Oh,
number? What number we at today? What number we at?
yeah.
We got a
Oh,
eight point
yes.
eight nine.
Nah, come on. We are definitely over an 8. I'm gonna say we had like a 9.2.
Okay. I'll take
I mean, it's
9.2.
higher than a 9, but are we
Right.
not giving it quite a 10 yet? I mean, it was a big win tonight, and so was the last game, which we didn't get into. So we're gonna talk about the last game and talk about tonight, and do this. But tonight was a good win. So I don't know for you, what number is it, Justin?
I said 8.8 at first. I feel like once you get
So that averages out to a 9. Because if you were 8.8 and I'm a 9.2, so we a 9.
right,
All right.
facts. Yeah, I'll take
So
that.
we're a 9 on the vibe scale tonight, which is pretty damn good. Shout out to you and Karima, by the way, because I think that's the last episode we put out. Very,
For
very,
sure.
very great episode. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did listening to it. But yeah, so let's talk about our team, Justin. Let's talk about the Dubs. So I didn't really have a lot of faith in the Warriors winning that game against Portland. I mean, I wanted them to win, but I just didn't have a lot of faith in them winning. Um, Now, typically, even when I'm like mad at them for whatever they're doing, I will still watch the game, but I was incredibly exhausted. I was so tired that night, like, I could barely keep my eyes open. I just gotten back because I was traveling. So I just gotten back, and then I had went to work. That was Wednesday, and I just had, like, a really long day. And so I'm just like, "Man, these dudes are not even trying." And my eyes are so heavy. So I was just like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to muster anything. I really wanted to sleep. And Justin having sort of a similar feeling to me for different reasons, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, just same working. You were traveling and working, but yeah, just late night, tired, and they were just playing like ass. So
Yeah. And we're on the
I
East Coast,
was
we're
like,
just like,
yeah,
all right, so over. So I mean, we had like a whole conversation in chat, right? And we're like talking to our producer, and we're like, all right, yeah, we're not doing this. And we're like, yeah, if they come back, we're not gonna be awake to see it. So fast forward to Thursday now. So I wake up, and by the way, the whole time I didn't like look at my phone. I was doing other things. But I was just when I woke up in the morning, I woke up thinking about the game, and I woke up under the assumption that the Warriors had lost. I hadn't like looked at anything yet. So when I finally go and I look at my phone, and it's like the first thing on my phone because like alerts, whatever, and it's like the
mhm.
Warriors win. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was so excited. And I was like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I was like, shame on me. Cause I mean, not even Justin can tell you. Like, y'all know if you know me, I'm pretty like it takes a lot to get me not to believe that the Warriors are gonna win, that they can pull off a comeback, that they can, that's just how I am. Like, I'm like, now to the end, So shame on me for ever doubting our guys. But I was just so shocked. I was. And I was like, damn. Of course, the one I don't push myself to stay awake. These dudes come back, they win the game, they have some crazy third quarter. It was just, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, it was great to wake up and see that.
yeah. Um, I like did the same thing as you, like you just said. Fell asleep a little bit. Actually woke up like I want to say late third quarter or something like that, and they were mid comeback, and I was like in my mind I was half sleep still, and I was like, okay, they're kind of coming back, and then I went to sleep and woke up the next morning, and I had the stream still up and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, they won, that's nice, like so I'm glad they got it done. I went back and watched it, like um they're getting a little bit creative with their defenses and stuff that we saw them do last year, where they mix their defenses up, kind of some unconventional ones at times, like the box and one, triangle and two, stuff like that, and it's working. And it's without Steph, without Wiggins, they got to get creative with how they try to beat teams, and it's worked the last two games. So kudos to Kerr for those audibles. Kudos to the players for stepping up, and especially Clay, Jordan tonight. Dante's been huge. All the guys have been stepping up. So it's really, really good to see.
I ain't giving Kerr no damn kudos because he'd be waiting too long to
I
do
knew you
stuff.
would.
So
I knew
I'm
you was
not
going.
giving him no kudos. But what I don't understand in general is it's not just the Warriors. Why do teams not deploy this kind of defense against Dame always? Like he gets to go out there and he gets to play one on one. And he hasn't ever demonstrated the ability to deal with this, honestly. That's how he got shut down. Any playoffs where Dame didn't look good, and it's not just against the Warriors, it's when like the Pelicans did it to him. I forget what year that was when we saw the Pelicans, but that's when like Drew Holiday
2018.
and Rondo was on the team, and they did it to him in the first round. They just trapped him, like just made him give up the ball, and it was a wrap, you know? And then the Warriors did it to him in 2019, And he hasn't demonstrated the ability to counter that. So until he does, I just don't understand why people don't do that all the time to them.
Yeah, I guess regular season teams aren't really trying to um, play that type of defense because a lot of teams don't really practice that type of defense for one, and for two, I think teams are just like going into each game with a very simple game plan, not necessarily something as complex as that. And then also a lot of times you don't have to do that. You can still beat the Trailblazers because the Trailblazers aren't good. They aren't good. I mean, I'm sure you can just improve your chances of beating them by doing something like that. But I think a lot of these teams are like, man, just go in there, run your stuff. Trailblazers are not good, so you can just beat them, like playing them straight up. Dame gonna get his 40, and they still gonna lose by 15. Like, and that's mostly what it's been this season. Like, he's been on a tear. I want to say his last 30 games or something, he's averaging like 40 points, something crazy, and they're barely winning any game. So yeah, Portland's just they're stuck in purgatory for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just be getting annoyed because we like before that game the other night. Excuse me, that's the East Coast yawn starting to kick in. But guys, I'm not really that tired, and it doesn't matter because I'm gonna be alert because even though I haven't even turned on the full level of hypeness, I'm hyped. I even got a cupcake. I'm gonna show y'all my cupcake at some point. I have a cupcake to celebrate this win. Justin's a trainer, so he's probably judging me right now. Like, what are you
Definitely
doing? This
not.
isn't good for your body, but I have a cupcake. Um, and I think all Warriors fans deserve a cupcake for this season that they put us through. Oh, Justin is laughing because my potty mouth. Listen, guys, y'all are all gonna have to work with me because I need to limit the F bombs when we're recording for YouTube. And I'm giving our producer Greg so much work. he put a message up here like, watch the F bombs. And I was like, did I use them already? I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware. So, like, that last
Mm.
one, at least I had awareness. I'm going to get it, Greg. I'm going to get it. Okay. So, but we all deserve it. We all deserve cupcakes, because of what we've been put through this season. So I have a cupcake and we're gonna turn up as we keep moving forward. But there's been mad talk about Dame everywhere, and I don't care if you're praising Dame, like, oh, shout out, he scored 71. But they always want to be reckless with their talk. It always has to come back to him being the same category as Steph, if he had the people Steph had, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Because this is a celebration of the Warriors, I'm not going to take time to dig into that because we'll revisit that conversation at a certain point in time. But just things I want to state for the record. I'm not even going to explain them because if you're a Warriors fan and you don't know these things, then I don't know what to tell you. But things I just want to make very, very clear. Okay. Um, Steph clears Dame. He is in another tier from him. He's a superior player than him. They are not like Dame would not have the same impact if he had Steph's team. Okay. Not saying that they wouldn't be a good team. It would not be the same impact. So just get that idea out of your head. Like, that myth has to go. The second myth that has to go is that his shooting is on par with Steph. That is also just untrue. Okay. Like, yes, he can shoot a nice deep three ball, but like, no, he's also not the shooter that Steph is. And I need y'all to just stop saying that recklessly because it ain't true. Okay. So those myths I just want to and look, I understand that a lot of Warriors fans are Bay Area and Oakland, all of that. And so Dame is your boy. I'm not from Oakland, okay? I love the Warriors and but I'm not. So I don't have that kind of affinity to Dame. So I'm not gonna go too hard. I don't want to disrespect y'all guy, but no, stop it. Like Stefan is his own thing, and then there's Dame. So shout out to Dame. He's a great player, but just stop these comparisons. When when I'm on Brother from Another and I'm hosting the show, we have like feeds, topics for like what we're going to talk about for the day. And so I was hosting the other day, and in my feed it said, the whole Steph Dame comparison is like comparing Clyde Drexler to Michael Jordan. Stop doing it. They're not the same level of player. Like, stop it.
Mm.
That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't got nothing else to say about Portland because we whooped that ass. Ass is okay for me to say, guys. Okay, I can do a little cursing. We just need to watch the F bomb. So I'm sorry. I just learned that apparently New Yorkers curse a lot, and I'd heard that before, but I didn't know that. Justin said it to me recently, like, "Well, you're a New
You
Yorker,"
just
and
learned that.
I didn't know that was a thing, like that people thought about us.
Hmm.
That's like a well-known thing?
I mean, I think so. I think just you just associate aggression with like New Yorkers, and
Wow.
cursing is like a very aggressive way of speaking. So like that, it goes hand in hand.
Yo, people have been calling me aggressive lately, and I'm like, "Wow, is that really the right adjective for me?" I just prefer passionate over aggressive.
Hey, that's towing that line. They're both on the same tightrope. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, anyway, I'm a very passionate person. I'm gonna stick with that. And so anyway, yes. So I'm sorry that I'm struggling so much to not curse, but apparently it's the New Yorker in me. So it is what it is. But the Warriors whooped that ass. They came back. They came back. They were down and they came back and beat
They
them.
were getting
Like,
smacked.
you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. And I look for any reason to talk shit to the Trailblazers and their fan base. I don't like them. I don't like them. So that's that. And that's another thing. Call me aggressive, but all this cute shit y'all do, buddy buddy with other teams, like, nah. You not like you're against my team, you're the enemy, you know? Like, and also if you just act recklessly and say foolishness. And Blazers fans say foolishness, Suns fans say foolishness. We know
They
Grizzlies
really
fans
do.
say foolishness. And so when you say foolishness, then, I have to respond, not even in kind, but with even more violence, you know? So that's just what it is. So yes, I'm petty like that. So haha, Blazers, you lost. And this is enough time that we've spent on you because, like I said, we are going to celebrate the Warriors and the strides that they are making at the right point in the season. So, with that, I think we can move on from this topic because I'm over talking about the Blazers, unless you got anything else to say about the Blazers, Justin.
Thanks for giving us GP2 back. The vibes are back in order. Ever since
Word up.
Gary's been on the bench, the vibes have been amazing. So
And we will take
shout
better
out to
care of him than your trash ass health staff, too.
yeah, facts. Facts,
And
facts,
that's another
facts.
excellent point. There was a reason why GP2 can thrive with Steph, but not with Dame. But anyway, yeah, my last final petty shot. So with that said, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on because we got other things to talk about. So, Justin, Justin. The Warriors, this was a big win for them tonight.
Huge.
And was there any point, because like the first quarter, they were going back and forth. They were like trading shots, they're going back and forth. And in the second quarter, Kawhi started Kawhiing, which you expect him to do at some point. And the shots were not falling for the Dubs. And they got a little lead. The Clippers. Not anything too crazy, but if you think about this season, like a 10-point lead feels like a 30-point lead with this team often
Right.
because like that's just what it's been like all year. So you really never wanted them falling behind more than like 4 or 5 points max, right? And so they were down at the half. Now, when that happened and coming into the third, were you worried? Did you think they could get back into it? How were you feeling at that point?
I knew they can get back into it, but I was kind of worried because it didn't seem like the Clippers were the type of team that would let them back into it, which Um, they aren't. They miss a lot of open threes, and I think that was partially due to the design of the Warriors defense to get some guys who didn't have a rhythm going to shoot a lot of open threes. Um, and other than that, Kawhi is very steady. It's hard to get him rattled and stuff like that. So I didn't think that there was like a great chance that they would be let back into the game, but I knew they still had a shot at it because 10-point leads, even though without Steph and without Wiggins, 10-point leads feels like 20. 10-point deficits feel like 20. The NBA today is so 3-point reliant. It's so fast, especially the way the Warriors have been playing recently, that in a matter of a few possessions, they could take the lead, and that's exactly what happened. So,
They did. They did. And this was a Jordan game. I mean, Dre was great pushing the pace and all of that. And there were other people who contributed, but this was a Jordan game, and I was happy for him, and I felt like he needed this. And he did a lot of his damage by attacking initially, and then eventually his three started to fall, right? And this is what we always want from him. We want him to do this. And I hate that Twitter updates the way that it does, because you had a tweet I started to read and then the shit updated while I was in the middle of reading. But so I was like, I'm gonna talk to him later. So instead of me going back to look for it, I'm gonna just let him talk about it here on the show. But like you said, something about Kerr needing to find a way to like let Jordan be this version of himself or something like that. Can you explain like the point you were
mhm.
making?
Yeah, I think we've seen quite a few times this season and a lot last season as well, where Steph, JP, and Clay are all playing at the same time, and one of them is like not in rhythm, just because they all need the ball. They all are rhythm based players with their jump shooting and just the way that they play. So a lot of times either Clay won't be at his best or JP won't be at his best. Steph is obviously pretty consistently uh, amazing, but Kerr has to find a way, even if he's probably going to send Jordan back to the bench once Steph comes back. But once he does that, he has to find a way to keep Jordan in this same rhythm, getting to the basket, making sure he draws fouls and stuff like that. Because if he's bringing this type of production, but like in a more, streamlined role off the bench, then it takes the team to a whole nother level, right? And then if you can keep Clay on the same heater that he's been on, shooting almost 44% from three, averaging all over 25 points a game in the last 25 games or so, then that's super dangerous, right? Then you get into the territory where Wiggins is like your fourth offensive option, right? Or like your fourth, you know, threat to the defense. And that's a hell of a fourth threat. So if they can keep that offense going, it makes it that much easier for them to get back to where they want to be defensively as well. So Kerr has his hands full. They had a brief moment last year when Wiggins was out, where they were starting the three guards and they were kind of blitzing teams, but it just hasn't gone that way this season. So hopefully, guys are all in the rhythm, especially when Steph comes back, so they can kind of keep this going and have all three of them, at the top of their game.
And so you mentioned also too that Clay could have a new average this year if he keeps this up. So not 20, but more than 20. What would the new average be?
His career high in a season is 22.1 or something like that, and I think that was 2017 or 2016. So if he averages like 23 and a half points for the rest of the season, then for the season, he'll have a new career high average, which is pretty cool. Obviously, Steph and Wiggins being out
Would
so
that
many
would that be
games is giving
23
him.
points? That would be the new high, or what would
Not
it
it would.
be? Just higher
It,
higher than 22 point, whatever it was.
yeah, it would be like 22.3, right? So if he obviously goes higher than that, it can be whatever. But I think 23.3 is the minimum that he can do to get that decimal point above to get that career high. So
What
super
makes you think
close.
about things like that and look for that and find that out?
I don't know. I was literally just walking down the street thinking about it. And I was like, I wonder what's Clay. I was like, I wonder what is Clay averaging this year? And I was like, what's his career high? So good. Yeah, I was thinking about that Portland game and I was like, damn, he was really cooking. So like what is his average this year? Because he started out terribly and now he's been on the heater. So I was wondering where he kind of averaged out at, but he's super close.
Wow, I'm like yawning like crazy, but it's trust me, it's not because it's uninteresting. It's just so fascinating to me. I'm like, what makes Justin think about these things? Like when I read that, I'm just like, who the hell just thinks about this shit?
Yeah, I don't know. It just can't. It just popped up in my head.
Oh my gosh. So something else I saw tonight in the game. Okay, so I saw. Let me tell you the one thing I saw that I didn't like really, and then I'm going to tell you what I also liked. That was sort of like not about gameplay, but is important. So what I didn't like, that little part of the game, I want to say in the third, sort of early into the third, where like each team was like complaining about fouls and like the game kept stopping. But I was mostly annoyed because it's like, well, for one, it's like with Dre, it's I'm sure all the refs know that you're at your limit, so they're giving you a little room, but it's also like, don't push it. Please, like,
Right.
don't push it because you were really needed. And then, but also like, I think Jordan picked up a tech and he's also, I think, getting close to that limit. But it's just like, but it was Kaminga. Like he really like irked me because there was like he did like a move. I don't remember what he did, but and who was even guarding him? Was it Paul George? It was someone, and he like faked him up, got around him, and then he got like,
Just Paul
in the
George.
paint and he like shot it, didn't make it. And then he started like jumping up and down, like throwing a
Yeah.
tantrum like a child. Like it was like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
quick second and a half, and then he just like stopped and ran back. But for one, first of all, I didn't see nobody around you. Like you just missed the shit. But secondly,
Yeah.
it's like, what why do you think that's okay? Like you like no. Justin, it annoyed me so much. Like it irked me. And I love me some Jonathan Kaminga, but I was like, what is this? What am
I saw
I
that.
watching?
I saw that. I was like,
I mean,
I
2 feet
wonder.
up in the air, like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
tantrum.
He got, like you said, he got back super quick. So I was like, okay, but you really just did the most. Like you really did way too much. It wasn't a ton of contact. It was one of those like pump fake. I get you in the air, so I should get the foul because I made you jump. But it's like, bro, you're a second year player. This is Paul George. You're not going to get that call. And
Yeah,
you had an opportunity, a clear opportunity to make the shot. He was out of the
and you
play for
just
real.
missed.
You
Yeah.
just missed the shot. So yeah, that was funny to watch. Yeah, he stopped himself mid tantrum and got back, which is I was okay with it then, but
After like one
he
and a
did
half
way
jumps,
too much.
though, he was like,
Yeah.
oh
At first, I thought he was mad at himself for missing, but he did it. It was way too demonstrative for that. I was like, oh, he thought he should have got a call.
that's
That was
exactly the word that
interesting.
I used. I was like, why is he being so demonstrative?
Yeah, he's
I was
passionate. There you go.
perplexed. Did
We're
what?
gonna bring that. We're gonna bring that word back. Passionate. That's all it is.
Anyways, I did not like that. Now, that being said, I did like the energy um that they were playing with tonight and the intensity, like diving for stuff, running out of bounds to catch it. The fact that there was so much passion behind like getting the right call and wanting that, it's like they knew they needed this win. They know it's time to start winning. And it's
Mhm.
like they really can flip a switch. Like they just really can do it, right? Like they're not like playing perfect basketball yet, but you can see they've started to look better and they're doing things better. And it's just like it really just took it just they just really needed to lock in. That's all.
Mhm.
They really need to lock in because they still don't have all their guys yet. I mean, there's no Andrew Wiggins, there's no GP2, there's no Stephen Curry, no Andre, if you're still counting him. And they're
Mhm.
winning these games. And like, yes, Steph, like Clay is playing like vintage Clay, I suppose you could say, or shooting at least like that. But especially because like Jordan hasn't been shooting well, right? And like they're winning these games like decisively, or it seems like it's the return of the third quarter dub. So it's just like y'all could have done this. Y'all like had this in you always. You really do. And so, and on one level, it's like, I don't know why you had to give me this season you gave me. But on another level, it's like, like, look, I mean, it's probably unlikely, but like they could still, in theory, finish the season and win 50 games. I think that's unlikely. It's probably gonna be like higher 40s, but like, but I'm expecting the run that we've been waiting for all season where they like, we got some news. Steph is likely returning, not the next game, but the game after, the one on Sunday versus the Lakers, the first away game, after they finish their
Mhm.
homestand. And so it's time. I mean, we said this like a few episodes ago, like it's go time, like it's time. And so it looks
Mhm.
like, it's 4 games in a row. They're 3 games above 500. They're
For the first
firmly in
time this
5th.
season.
Yes, they're firmly in 5th. Like they're catchable, but they're firmly in 5th. Like the other teams are at least, it's not like a statistical tie, like they're ahead. And they're only 1 game back on the Suns. That's it. Now, I did tweet earlier, like, if they want that 4 seed, they're gonna have to actually finish with a higher record than the Suns because the Suns own the tiebreaker.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, if they're feeling good and they want to build good habits, and they should go for it. I think we've been saying a lot recently that we like ideally want them to get the Kings in the first round, but if they said forget it, who we don't care who we play in the first round, um, then go
Justin
for
did it this time. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Justin got the man. We're so Greg. Don't worry. We'll clean this up by the next
it's
one.
late. It's late. Yeah, it's late. That's what it is. If they say forget it, we don't care who we play in the first round. We're just going to try to win as many games as possible. Then yeah, go for it. I think it's a prime opportunity right now. They've won 4 in a row, and they got 3 really winnable games. Coming up. Obviously, the second night of a back to back is always tough, but you got LA without LeBron, and you got OKC, who is seeming to kind of taper down their attempt at making the playoffs or play in right now. So
And that second night
it's
of a
go time.
back-to-back goes against the Pelicans.
Pelicans without Zion, Lakers without
Exactly.
LeBron, Thunder potentially without Shea. I don't know. Last time I watched him play, he didn't play. So maybe they are in tank mode now.
Yeah.
It's
So I
go
mean,
time.
it's and by the way, I mean for them to get the Kings, because I think the Kings are going to hold on to the 3. I just feel like they're going to keep it. So I think it's a fight for the 4th spot, and that fight is going to be between the Warriors, the Suns, the Mavs, and the Clippers. Right? I think it's going to be those 4 teams all trying to get 4th, but the Warriors would have to drop 2 spots to end up playing the Kings, and I don't think they're gonna, like let's lose enough to play the Kings. So, you know, um
Mhm.
it's to me, it's more a matter of if they get 4th or 5th, who would they want to play, right? Because if they're 5th, they're playing whoever's 4. If they're 4th, they're playing whoever's 5, right? So it's just a matter if you have home court or if you don't. So
Yeah,
what bracket would that put them in though if they have 4th,
Denver.
based on the other teams being 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, it'll put them in Denver's bracket
So they would see Denver what in the second round?
in the second round. Yeah, and then
Getting them out of there anyway.
yeah. I mean, I've reached that conclusion as well. It doesn't really matter where they are as long as they're out of the play in. I think they're in a pretty good spot. All these teams have weaknesses. At the end of the day, if Golden State is healthy with all their guys, especially with Steph and Wiggs back and Draymond and Looney and everybody, the starters are all healthy. Just check the ball up and see who can beat who 4 times. Like it is what it is. Matchups are matchups, but none of these teams are scary. So it doesn't really matter what the path is.
So in a first round series, who would you want to see? Like, let's say the Warriors are 4th or 5th. Would you want it to be the Suns? Would you want it to be the Clippers? Would
Oh,
you want it to
Clippers
be the
for sure.
Mavericks? Clippers for
Oh,
sure.
Mavs. It would definitely. I mean, Mavs first.
People feel like,
Um,
actually, you know what? Let's wrap up this conversation around the game and then sort of maybe talk about potential matchups in the rest of the Western Conference. Because I don't know, a lot of Warriors fans, I think in general, are afraid of Kyrie and think he's the Warriors' kryptonite. So I do want to talk about that a little bit more. But anything else on this Clippers game?
third quarter dubs. We already talked about that. I said before the season even started, the Clippers cannot guard quick guards. They've proven that all season. Um, I said they don't have anything for Jordan Poole, and they clearly do not. He dropped 34 on them. He cooks them every time they play. They definitely can't guard Steph. Um,
Russell
yeah,
Westbrook is still gonna Russell Westbrook, and what I mean by that, he got so
oh yeah,
irritated when Jordan had that steal on him, so then he came back and fouled him, and they got all
and
upset
fouled
and
him.
worked up, and it's like, all right, you're always gonna do this. This is just like what you're gonna do. I really don't know why they decided to add Russell Westbrook to the team, aside from the fact that Paul George wanted to play with his old teammate again.
Yeah,
Because I feel like they were starting to play well, and now like they've regressed by adding him. And I don't mean because he's been playing bad, but it's like now you're having to like fit him in and you move man into like the second unit and all this
yep,
other stuff, and it's just affecting your team chemistry.
yep. I said as soon as it happened, thank you. They just completely eliminated themselves from contention, and it's unfortunate for Russ on a personal level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it doesn't feel good to, you know, go to teams and they just are worse and then everybody points it out, whether it's your fault or not. But it is what it is, man. Everybody's
Did you
career
did you see the report from
ends
Chris
differently.
Haynes that he still wants to win Sixth Man of the Year for the time he spent in LA?
No, that's actually insane. Nah.
You want to be an
What?
MVP and then also a Sixth Man of the Year? Yeah, this is crazy.
Nah, he's funny for that. And Norman Powell is like on his team now. Norman Powell like leads the league in bench scoring and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Russ is a
That's
funny dude.
wild, right?
He really just be vibing. He really just be vibing. He don't care
On
about
that
nothing else at this
note,
point.
bye bye clips. But yeah, I don't take you seriously anymore. There was actually a time we thought they could be one of the actual teams that would challenge the Warriors, but I think the only team I to me, like when I think about this, yeah, I'll save that. I'll save that. But bye bye Clippers. Y'all are out of here. We're not thinking about you. Um great win. Great win. Great win. And that's all we gotta say. So I don't know. I never go too hard on the Clippers because Kawhi and Paul
Those are
George
guys.
actually, yes, yes, they are. Paul George, like if anyone does not know, I'm a huge Paul George fan. And y'all be talking about him greasy. Don't Justin, don't even start. Okay. Y'all be talking about him greasy. And
My
then some of
man
y'all
does
don't
it to
respect
himself.
Kawhi the way that you should. But anyway, those are my guys. And so I'm just like, it's unfortunate, but I don't ever go in on them the way that I will go in on like some other teams and players. Okay. So that's it. I'm letting y'all know my biases up front. What is so funny, Justin?
Paul George does it to himself, so I don't know why
He
you're
doesn't
acting
do
like
anything to himself.
the slander is unwarranted. He was 3 of 15 tonight, 5
Okay, so he
fouls.
had a bad night. Big deal. Everyone has bad
He
nights.
was getting cooked. I don't
Already
know.
told you he was getting cooked. Like, whatever. Who cares? Clay's gotten cooked by Kyrie before.
Hey,
We still love
Clay is a
Clay.
champion. Clay is a champion.
Paul George also went through a catastrophic injury and revived his career. Like, it's still something to
Clay
be
did
proud of.
too.
And
Clay did too.
Clay did too, but I mean, Clay plays with Stephen Curry. Paul George
You
was
right.
the main guy on his team. So, he's a great second player. There were times Warriors
Yeah.
fans wanted to trade to get him on the team, and I don't think anyone would have been upset with that. So
He
we're
gonna
not
he
gonna
gonna come to the Warriors.
What? When?
When his contract up.
Oh, I would love that because then he could get a ring and I could just love him on my team. So I don't mind that at all. I love Paul
You heard
George, so you're not getting me to slander him. I don't care about who he
you heard it here first.
married.
You heard it here first. 2027-ish. Paul George.
Documented. Justin said it. He called it. We will come back and revisit it. But I
Yep.
feel bad too because Tyronn Lue, I like him. So I really don't have like disdain for the Clippers. I know like,
You neither.
you know, the SoCal, NorCal thing they have going on is like just hate anything LA, but I really don't have beef with that team. Even their owner is likable. I just don't I disliked the Chris Paul Clippers. I disliked the Lob City Clippers. Like those guys, listen, they were up there with the Rockets and the Grizzlies. I did not mess. Look at that. I caught it. I was about to say I did not F with those dudes. And I said, see, we getting better already, Greg. Okay. But
Let's go.
I didn't mess with them, but I just don't have this disdain for these Clippers. You know, I just don't.
Yeah. And I think part of that is because they aren't really a threat. You know what I mean? Like the thought of them is immediately when Paul George and Kawhi both went to the Clippers, everyone was thinking, dang, like they're gonna be really good. You know, they're gonna be in. It was right after Kawhi just won the finals too. It's like, dang, they're gonna win. He gonna win another championship, or it's, you know, they're gonna be really good. And it just has not happened that way in 4 years. This is the fourth season of them being together, and it's just, it's
Yeah,
just a
and look,
flop.
a
Like,
lot of that has been injury, whether people want to acknowledge it or
oh, for
not, it
sure.
hasn't. Like, yes, the in the bubble that year, like they both just collapsed for, you know, whatever reasons. I do feel like a lot of people discount like the mental health stuff that Paul George talked about. Like I think we just sort of dismiss that, and because it's Paul George too, people like to make fun of him. And then Kawhi just had a bad game 7. Like it happens, right? But outside of that year, for the rest of, because like they could have that year when the Suns got to the finals, they should have gone. Like Kawhi doesn't get hurt and they go to the
That was their
finals.
year.
That was their year. So, you know, shit just happens, you know, but at the end of the day, they didn't win anything. And like that's how people are gonna look at it. They're just gonna look at the result and not really kind of, you know, assess each year by year or whatever. So, and Paul George did his thing that year. I mean, honestly, they could have still beaten the Suns even without Kawhi. Like that should have been a 7-game series, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's it. Y'all put respect on Paul George's name, okay? Like he's a damn strong number 2, and he carried 2 teams into the conference finals in both conferences. He did it in the East and he did it in the West. Respect him. Okay.
That's true.
All righty. So with that, we move on. So, Justin, now that the Warriors are sitting pretty, are they not sitting pretty?
Yeah, they are. I like the whole. I like the neck. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
Justin's putting on for y'all tonight. We never get this much from him ever. See? Justin likes the
You
camera.
asked me what I was reacting to. You asked me what I was reacting to.
And then you said, more of this, Justin. I love it. So, okay. But okay. The Warriors are sitting pretty. And well, first let's say where do we think they're finishing? I don't think they're finishing 6th. I think they're finishing in the top 6, but I don't think they're finishing 6th. So I just don't think anyone's catching the Kings need to take a drop at some point, and we keep saying like it's gonna come, and they just haven't done it yet. And I think they're so excited to be here, and Mike Brown has them like pretty grounded. I think he's gonna get them through this regular season, holding on to their 3 spot. They have a few game lead above the Suns. And we should talk about the Suns because people are so excited over this win they had last night, and it was just over the Charlotte Hornets. So, you know, let's keep that in perspective. Right. Did you watch the game?
I watched some of it. By the time I started watching, the game was pretty much over. Um,
Okay.
and Book had already had like 40 already. So
So I mean, right now the Kings only have 25 losses. The Suns have 29 and we have 30. I mean, there's a slim chance. Like, cause to me, the Kings can still move up to second. That's the thing. They're only 2 games behind Memphis.
hmm they're on a 4-game winning streak too. But the thing is, their schedule gets pretty tough. Um, or does it? I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, they'll probably hold on. I don't think their schedule is going to lend them to like drop 3 games. You know what I mean? Because they're 3 games ahead of fourth. I don't think they're
Right.
going to get outpaced by 3 games or 4 games by anybody
Right.
underneath them. So they're locked into either second or third.
What does the Grizzlies like schedule look like?
Let me pull theirs up. But I think they're pretty locked in too, to be honest. But let me see what they got. They got Denver, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Mavericks, Miami. That's a pretty tough stretch right there. Then you got San Antonio, Warriors again, Dallas, Houston,
And they
Atlanta,
haven't been
Orlando.
playing as good as the Kings, like consistently.
Nah, they haven't. I mean, they had that stretch where they lost like a bunch of games in a row right after they had won a bunch of games in a row, and now they're
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 3. So they're probably locked into second too because they got a nice little stretch here where they play Houston twice, then Atlanta, then Orlando. They got Chicago in there, Portland. Um,
Well, let me
so
ask this. What should I be rooting for? Do we prefer them at second or do we prefer them at third?
um, if the Warriors are either fourth or fifth, then it doesn't matter if they're second or third. I don't think. Um, but if the Warriors are sixth, then I think you want them in second because you'll be able to use the Kings as a nice tune-up series before you see Memphis in the second round.
Are we
Um,
disrespecting the Kings by continuing to say that there'll be a tune-up
n-
series?
no,
Okay. Well, there you have it. I listened to
I mean
Justin when he
maybe, but it's like it's not. It is what it is. Like everybody knows the Kings have a
I know.
ton of offense and not a lot of
I
defense.
sort of don't want the Kings to get us in the first round because they're such a nice story and I like them and it's Mike Brown and I'd like them to at least be able to win like a playoff round. Is there any team that they can beat in the first round?
The Mavericks.
Okay. If they had
They can
well,
beat the Mavericks. They can beat the Mavericks. They can beat the Lakers if LeBron is hurt. They can beat the Timberwolves or the Pelicans, whichever one of those get the eighth spot, or the if the Lakers don't get it.
okay.
But Clippers, I don't see them beating the Clippers in the series, even though they just, they, I mean, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk just gave the Clippers
The
fits. But
business. Yeah.
yeah, I don't see them beating Phoenix, Golden State. So
Okay.
yeah,
So, I mean, we'll just see, but to me, that's more the one to watch, like Memphis and Sac, like if they trade spots. So, so yes, I feel like 2 and 3 is like those could maybe flip-flop, and then I think it's like 4 and 5. I guess in theory 6 too, but I just think there's gonna be 4 teams like Phoenix, Golden State, Dallas, Clippers, as I said earlier, vying. Obviously, one of those teams is going to be out. So they're all going to be vying to make sure they're top 6, but everyone's going to want at least one home court round if they can get it, right? And so that's
hmm
what I'm saying. Like everyone's going to be going hard to try to get that 4th spot.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the Suns stuff. I think it's going to go down to the wire. It's going to go down to the wire. But I mean, the cool thing is, like we said, if the Warriors see the Kings, then it's not home court, but it kind of is. Like
Yeah,
at least from a travel standpoint, I think the Sacramento fans are like really, really, going hard for their team with the
they
like the
are, but
beams and
Warrior fans are
like
gonna
that.
still invade that arena. It's happening.
Definitely,
It's
definitely,
happening.
definitely. So yeah, we just gotta hope for one of two things to happen. Either the Warriors get fourth, which means they get at least home court advantage in one series, or they see the Kings. Like one of those two things would be the most ideal, uh, start to the playoffs, and then from there you just take it however you can get it from there.
I know the Warriors truly don't care, and there is something to be said about sort of making history as being like this lower seeded team who comes back and wins it all, right? Just sort of adds to Steph's GOAT legacy. But there's also something to be said about securing a top 4 seed and having home court in the first round, just like a mental thing, like you're the upper echelon, of the West. There's like
Hmm.
I don't think that matters to like a Steph or a Dre and Clay, but I think maybe to like some of the younger guys, like you go in and it's like, we made this run at the end of the season, you going hot, so I still kind of want the fourth seed, but we'll just see where it plays out. I feel confident
Yeah.
though that barring injury, the Warriors will finish in the top 6.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I guess
And
they
now at least
they
we have a better sense, like, with Steph coming back. I mean, I still really wanna get Wiggs back and get him into rhythm, so I hope the family situation I just hope he can come back soon and hope for the best for his family, it has to be
Mhm.
something very serious to keep him out this long. I mean, the team will get a big boost by Steph returning, but they do need Wiggins. I don't wanna, like, undersell that. He's still needed.
In a major way. In a major way, especially in the playoffs. You need guys that are his size that can do what he does. Um, so the quicker he can come back, get back into a rhythm and a groove, and they can build the chemistry that they need because they haven't played together a lot all season, especially once the bench caught up to speed. They haven't been healthy ever since then. So just they need a sustained period of the full playoff rotation being able to play with each other and get that chemistry and rhythm going before the playoffs start. So uh, they're set up for a nice little run. They just won their fourth game in a row, and they got a few more that they can win and add on to. Hopefully, they take care of business. But praying for Wiggs and can't wait to see Steph back in the next 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 away games, but the Lakers and OKC games are good games for Steph to kinda, like, get back because then they got Memphis, Milwaukee, Phoenix,
It's tough,
Clippers.
tough stretch.
Yeah,
It's gonna
and
be
then
a
it's
tough
annoying
stretch.
because they got Atlanta, but then Memphis on the second night of a back-to-back. I just want them to get
Of
one of
course,
those games. Yeah, I want them to get one of those games in Memphis at least.
yeah,
I feel like the
yeah,
first one is a little bit more realistic than that second night of the back-to-back.
for sure. But knowing this team,
Right.
they'll win the one that is least likely and lose the other one. But yeah, we're getting to that point where we said like ton of road games against a lot of good teams. That midpoint of this final stretch of the season, they got to try to be around 500 during that stretch or better. And then right now they're in a stretch where they got to stack wins. So it you know
I mean, those last games in April are gonna matter for the Warriors, but, like, there's only gonna be by that point, especially if, like, the Kings seed is, like, determined, like, it may not matter for them, and, like, Denver, it's not gonna matter for them, they're gonna be first, and considering the way that, like, Jokic has been utilized all season, I could see Malone wanting to, like, get him rest and stuff like that, so
oh
those
yeah.
games. Yeah, so, I mean, those last 4 games in April, I mean, like, Portland, they might be still trying to vie for, like, a play-in spot, so, like, they'll be going hard, but I'm just saying, like, those last 4 games in April to me don't really concern me. So it's like March, right? So, and then they have like those 4 games at home. So it's just getting through that away stretch, and then plus you have the Bucks coming to town. So
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting from the Lakers game. So, and that's on Sunday, the one that should be Steph's return. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they have 10 games, 9 are away of the 10. And that includes one back to back. So not counting the one that they have tomorrow night. So after tomorrow night, they have only one more back to back. I really want them in that stretch of 10 games to go 8-2. That's what I want. I want them to only lose 2 games.
If they do that, just get the champagne ready, get the you know what I mean, get everything ready. Just set up the parade again because that would be a
I feel like
huge
they just played
statement that like
500 ball. They played 500 ball for so much of the season. Like, you need
right,
a really dominant stretch.
right. And it would be perfect if this is that time right here. It'll send a message to everybody and then teams will really be like, well, we really don't want to play this team right now in the first round or in the second round. Um so yeah, that would be amazing. 8-2.
So, I mean, the last thing I just want to talk about real quickly before we wrap is I still don't know what the Warriors are doing with that last roster spot. They signed Lester to a 10-day because of
Why
some
you say it
weird
like that?
thing. Because they
What
only did it how I said it.
you like Lester.
Well, isn't that his
Like
name?
you didn't like him or something. Like you didn't like him or something. I don't know.
No, I don't know. Sometimes I just emphasize words in a weird way. I don't know. People bring it up to me all the time, but no, I don't got no beef with Lester. Like,
Oh,
I got
okay,
an
my
uncle
bad.
named Lester, super Jamaican. Um, I got a Lester, a Lloyd, an Errol,
Arrow is the
Yukon,
most Jamaican name of all time.
Lloyd, all of them.
Yeah.
Every, and then there's the Barringtons, my brother and my
Yeah.
father. It's pure Jamaican business over here.
Yeah.
So, um, so they signed Lester to 10-day solely for the purpose of allowing Lamb and Ty to stay longer. Now, I think Lamb has what, like 3 games left? 3 or 2, something like that. After
I
tonight.
think two. I
It's
think two.
2. So, but they did it for the benefit of both of them, right? So it's like, are you gonna sign Lamb? Are you gonna sign Ty? Are you gonna consider Nerlens Noel? Like, well, I just don't know what's happening. I mean, I feel like if they were gonna try to consider adding a new player, you'd be going after him already. I haven't heard any
Mhm.
chat about any team with Nerlens. Have you?
No.
Like, I haven't even heard like, oh, these are the teams interested. Nothing.
Right. I haven't heard anything either. So maybe they know something we don't know.
So yeah, so I mean, I just don't know. Like, are you guys just gonna sign one of these dudes? Are you waiting to see like what it's like when Steph comes back? Because I mean, the way that I feel at this point is like, yeah, like you could sign one of those guys, but we know none of those guys are like they're not getting burned in the postseason. But I
Mhm.
also don't know if it's like, well, still just in case you want to have extra body, so you fill that 15th roster spot. Like I just don't know. I can't tell what their plan is. Like, are they feeling like, okay, we're starting to see signs of the team we know, so we don't need to add someone else? What are they thinking? I don't know.
That's probably what it is. I would guess they're thinking like we're finally getting the chemistry going and stuff like that. Steph and Wiggins are about to come back. Once they come back, then there will essentially be no more Lamb minutes. Um, you know, Ty Jerome has been playing well, but when Steph comes back, he's not playing. So I think it's at the point in the season where they're so close to playoff time that integrating a new player could potentially just present a whole new challenge for them to rebuild chemistry, work out more lineup stuff and stuff like that. And they already have their playoff rotation, right? Like the two bigs are Draymond and Looney. You got Kaminga to come in at the four. Wiggins is going to play some four. GP2 is probably going to play some four as well. You got
I mean, with
Steph.
all this time off that Wiggs has had and Steph, they're definitely going to be rejuvenated.
Yeah, right. And it's, I mean, no teams in the West are really going to really punish you inside. Um, it's just if you potentially see Milwaukee or something in the finals, then having an extra big in there would definitely help. But I don't think they're looking at the West and saying, "Man, we really need another big." It's no team that's really going to punish them like that, you know. So
You saw
yeah,
Milwaukee's looking at what's the
Dragic,
dude?
Goran.
Yeah, what is he gonna do? I mean, take some duties away from Drew. I guess that's not such a bad thing, but I don't know. That doesn't
Yeah,
move me.
yeah. I think they just want to get some more offense in there. Their offense has been pretty bad, especially the half court offense. They've had some injury stuff too, but I think they just want somebody that can hit a shot and dribble to add to their roster because they've been winning a lot, but it's really just been defense and Giannis. So I think they just want to add a little bit more offensive punch.
Yeah, their win streak is a little fake too, but whatever.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all I got tonight. I need to go to my bed. So I'm sure Justin needs to go to his bed too. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I'm super excited. We're on the right track. I was talking a lot of shit when Karima was on. I joined Justin and Karima for a segment. And at the end of that segment, I was like, yeah. I was talking hella shit. I was like, you teams didn't create distance. Y'all didn't create separation. You effed around. Yeah. You effed around and left the door open for the Warriors to come back in. And who would have known since that, Justin? They've been doing their thing.
They've been doing their thing. Can't ask for nothing more.
Nah, you can't. All right, y'all. Well, this has been so much fun. I hope you enjoyed the video if you're watching. And oh, we're going to have so much fun closing out the rest of the season and heading into the postseason. So thank you for tuning in with us today. Whenever you do, we appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the messages y'all send us, whether it's email on the TL. We'll get a mailbag going again soon, but we just really, really appreciate your support. So as always, continue to please support, share it with people you know, leave us a review or a rating. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Golden Spaces Pod. Thank you so much. I ramble a lot, but I just want to make sure I'm saying our thank yous. Justin, do you have anything you want to add for our very first video YouTube episode?
Nah, thanks to all the supporters. Like you said, people have been showing us a lot of love, like even on Twitter, talking to us and, telling us how much they like the pod. So we're just gonna try to keep it going. We're expanding to YouTube right now, so we're always thinking of new ways to just bring good content to everybody and just, talk about the team that we all love to follow and, let's just keep it going.
Yeah, and if you have thoughts for us on things that you'd like to see, hear, talk about, please let us know. We love feedback, critical, whatever. Tell us the critical feedback though. Leave the positive reviews. That's but we still receive it. Just tell it to us.
Right.
All right, y'all. This is a Golden Spaces and Odyssey original podcast with Justin and Nat. We have another game tomorrow night, so we'll figure out what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll do a little quick bonus episode, not another full episode again, but because we definitely do an episode for Steph's return. We miss our guy, so you'll be hearing from us soon. Thank you so much. Until next time.